Sphere Finance continues to build other protocols. We've seen Dystopia, we've seen Penrose, now they're building Prion as well as Cone. People aren't too sure why Sphere Finance is not concentrating on Sphere Finance, so in this video we're going to take a look at how Sphere actually benefits from these protocols and why it's actually a good thing for Sphere Finance to be building out these protocols. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. Hey, what's going on guys? It's Eric here and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day and are doing well. Today we're talking about Sphere Finance and we're talking more specifically about why Sphere Finance is building out new protocols and how is it actually benefiting the Sphere ecosystem. I've seen countless times people on Twitter asking why Sphere is building out these protocols and not concentrating on Sphere itself. So this is why I wanted to make this video, to address this, because Sphere is actually building out an ecosystem and all of these different protocols are eventually tying it back into Sphere and helping the native token of Sphere, which is the Sphere token. So first and foremost, we know that Sphere Finance incubated Dystopia as well as Penrose, and this is basically the same thing as Curve and Convex, where Dystopia is a place where people can go and swap stablecoin to stablecoin with a low fee, and then use Penrose as an aggregator in order to generate more revenue on their staked liquidity positions. So that in a nutshell is Dystopia, and that is also in a nutshell Penrose. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how in the world is this helping the Sphere token? Let's say you invested in Sphere, you have the Sphere token, and I have about 150,000 of those tokens. And how is Penrose and how is Dystopia helping Sphere and helping me as an investor in Sphere? So if we go on to Dystopia and we look at the info behind it, we can see that they have a liquidity of about $11 million. So within the Dystopia platform, we have different pairs, different coins, different stable coins, and different other coins. Now in total, all of these amounts amount to about 11 million, and we also have a volume that happens every day. So we see the 24-hour volume is roughly 1 million, and what happens to that is that every time there is a transaction on Dystopia, there is a small fee that is accumulated for that transaction. So over the last 24 hours, we see that $246 was actually taken by Dystopia in terms of fees. Now this is where Sphere Finance comes into play, because Sphere Finance actually has a big governance on Dystopia, because essentially they were the ones that incubated this project. They are getting a portion of those fees sent back to their treasury, where they can then go ahead and use a portion of those fees to continue on building their protocol, or to use to buy back the Sphere token, which we all hold if you're invested in Sphere, and they can use it to buy it back in the open market and then send it to the burn wallet in order to reduce the circulating supply of Sphere and thus increasing the price of one Sphere token. So that's essentially Dystopia, how that works, and Penrose is basically the same thing. Now, yes, I am very much so going on the surface of it. We're not talking about governance. We're not talking about how Sphere incentivizes people to stake or to vote for certain pools in order to make more money. But in the grand scheme of things, Sphere Finance is actually making money in terms of Penrose and Dystopia. So to give you guys a concrete example, I have invested about $1,100 in Penrose, and I'm staking in two different pools, which are the USD Plus and USDC and Wrapped-Matic and Dist token. So I have about $1,100 in this, and over the last 2 weeks, I've been able to make about $37 in these forms of tokens. So we have the Pen token, we also have the Dystopia token, and out of my $1,100, I made $37 in roughly 2 weeks. So imagine just how much money Sphere is actually making by providing liquidity to Dystopia or to Penrose, and imagine as well them collecting on those trading fees that are happening on a day-to-day basis. Now, if we take a look at Simsala's recent announcement, they posted this a few days ago and they actually said that their current treasury without Pen or Dis, so without considering Penrose or Dystopia, is worth about $10 million. So as we know, Sphere currently still has the tax in order to buy and sell the Sphere token, and a portion of that is actually going into the treasury, and they are investing that treasury in order to grow it. So that treasury is worth about over $10 million, and that is excluding the Pen token as well as the Dystopia token, which they are generating every time there are transactions on both of these platforms. And now they do provide us with a wallet address here, so if we go check that out, this brings us to this page here, and what do we see? We see all of the Pen and Dis tokens coming into the Sphere wallet, and this is basically transparent right in front of your eyes. You can see exactly what's going on, how much Pen they are receiving, as well as how much Dis they are receiving, as well as all of these other investments they have in their treasury. So there is a long list of different transactions here, and you guys can play around with this and literally go transaction by transaction, view the hash, but that's basically how Dystopia and Penrose is helping the Sphere ecosystem in a very quick summary. Now, if you guys aren't aware, they're actually coming out with something completely new, which is going to be on the BNB chain, and this is going to be Cone and something else that they haven't come out with just yet, but this is basically going to be the Dystopia and Penrose, but on the Binance Smart Chain side of things. So this is where it gets even more exciting, because this is going to provide another revenue source to Sphere and to the beloved Sphere token as we know. So going back to the Discord here, this is exactly the announcement we got yesterday. Simsala says we are expanding to the BNB chain with Dystopia and Penrose under the name of Cone and something else. We're still going to wait for that, but that's essentially going to act the same way as Dystopia and Penrose is acting on the Polygon network. And as we just saw, Penrose and Dystopia is basically giving some income to Sphere Finance, which they can then go ahead and buy back the token, burn the Sphere token, or invest in their treasury, or continuing to build out new revenue sources. Now, last but not least, they are still working on Prion, which is also going to be another revenue source for Sphere Finance. Prion is basically going to be a decentralized lending protocol that's going to be built on Polygon as well, and that's going to tie into the Dystopia Penrose Prion loop that Price Time has actually made a phenomenal video on this, explaining everything you need to know about Prion and how it ties into the Sphere ecosystem. But Prion is also going to be another revenue stream for Sphere Finance. No, there aren't going to be any interests on the loan you decide to do on Prion, but every time there is a transaction on Prion, there is a small fee that's going to be going back to the Sphere ecosystem, to the treasury, for again buybacks and burns, or to continue developing the Sphere ecosystem. Now, we're not going to dive into the specifics of Prion and how it works. If you want more information, definitely check out this video by Sphere Finance and Price Time. But I just wanted to show you guys that Sphere is not only still building out their ecosystem, but all of these protocols that Sphere is building is actually going to help the Sphere token itself. And for the investor that's simply invested in Sphere, those profits from these different revenue streams are going to help you in the long run. So you don't necessarily need to do anything. If you just want to hold your Sphere token, you can do that. And in the long run, all of these different revenue streams are eventually going to help your Sphere token. Now, of course, nothing I say here is financial advice. This is just a quick breakdown of the Sphere ecosystem at a very high level and how it all works and how all of these revenue streams help the ecosystem and help your Sphere token. So if you guys enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.